Hi, thank you so much for stopping by. It's another Adalo tutorial today. I want to say thank you for always reaching out. Thank you for your questions so far. And for all those persons who reached out to me for their Adalo applications, thank you so much for always reaching out and trusting me. And today we're going to be learning about DBS relationship. When I mean DBS relationship, I mean database management relationship. A lot of time when you're building applications with Adalo, you wonder why it's my data not transferring from one screen to another one. I want to be able to connect one collection with another collection. I want to be able to call properties from one table to properties in another table. Why is it not working? So today I'm going to help you figure out why it's not working, and I'm going to show you what you should be doing and how you should be connecting database together. But first, let me show you a picture. So this is the way database relationships are. You have the one-to-many relationship, one-to-one relationship, and then you have the one-to-many relationship, and you have the many-to-many relationship. So a lot of time, this is the way you will be connecting database in Adalo. But in Adalo, you're going to be having mostly one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many. Seldomly will you use the one-to-one relationship because Adalo does not have it. So you're going to be making use mostly of one-to-many, many-to-many, and many-to-one relationship. So you will see this in a lot of your application. For example, if you're creating a food delivery application, you would see that you could deliver different items to the same person. Yeah, you could deliver different items to the same person. So that's a many to one relationship because many items equals the same person. Say for example, you're creating a learning management application. What that means is that one student can enroll for different subject and one subject can have multiple students. So that's a many to many relationship. And if you're developing something for a doctor and a patient, you will see that even you yourself, when you go to the hospital, you can have, you would see one doctor, and that doctor can have lots and lots of patients. So that's the way it works. That's the way it works in Adalo. Let's go back to Adalo. And if we click on our database collection, you can see I have users collection, I have property collection, I have tenants, and I have units. So I'm going to pretend that I am creating a property application. Yeah, just going to pretend that I'm creating a property application. And if you look at it very well, you would see that users can have multiple property and the property can belong to one user. In a property listing application like Zillow, like Airbnb, you would see that a person can put in multiple properties for lease, but one property belongs to one user. No two properties belong to one user. So how do you create such a relationship? That's going to be one to many relationship. So how do you do it? You click on the collection, go to add property, and then scroll down, click on the collection, then click on the collection, go to add properties, and look for the collection that you want to add property that you want to have this relationship with. So now we want to connect users and properties. So I'll click on the property. I'll say, hey, what's going to happen now? A property can have multiple users and the users belong to one property. A property can only have one user. A user can have multiple properties. So this is where we are going. A property can belong to one user and a user can have multiple property. So we'll click on it and say done. If we scroll to the bottom, we can change it and we can say property relationship. So let's click on save. And then next we'll go to tenants. A tenant can have what's going to happen? A tenant can have multiple units, but a unit belongs to one tenant. You can see it, right? A tenant can have multiple units, but a unit belongs to one tenant. So that's the way it's going to work. A tenant can have multiple units and a unit belong to one tenant. But it really depends on the type of real estate application you're building. So if you're building a real estate application that requires multiple tenants to stay in one unit, Say you can have 2 tenants stay in one unit, you can have 3 tenants stay in one unit, then you're going to do a many-to-many relationship. So what it's going to mean is that one tenant can have multiple units and a unit can have multiple tenants. It really depends on the type of application you're doing. But for the sake of this lesson, we're going to go to our relationship with the units and say, hey, a unit, let's go through the options together. A unit can have multiple tenants. A tenant belongs to one unit. A unit can only have one tenant. A tenant can have multiple units. A tenant can have multiple units. A unit can have multiple tenants. So all this really depends on the kind of application you're building. But we're going to go for the first one, for this middle one, that a unit can have one tenant. A tenant can have multiple units. So also in a property, you can say, hey, I'm gonna a tenant will be able to take like 4 units, 5 units, 6 units. But that unit, once that unit is taken by that tenant, no other person can take it anymore. So that's it. Lastly, we're going to create a relationship between the unit and the property. This should be fairly easy. Click on the property, click on add property, and click on relationship with the unit. So what we're saying is that a property can have multiple units and a unit can have multiple properties. A property can have multiple units, a unit can have multiple properties. So that's the way it is. It's going to be a many-to-many relationship. Why? Because if you're building a house, you can have lots of units inside. And if you have a unit can belong to different properties. You can have unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, property A, unit 2, property A, unit 3. So it depends on what you want to build. And also, this also works for a this also works for a many-to-one relationship, in that a unit can only have one property and a property can belongs to multiple units. This also works here too. But as I said again, it really depends on the type of application you're building and what you're looking at getting out of the application. But just make sure that you're using the right relationship so you don't have trouble building your application. And one thing that I also say is that give yourself room to make mistakes. Adalo is a tool that enables you to quickly iterate, make mistakes, and try all over again. If you feel that one particular connection is not working, delete it. It's simple. It's easy to delete. Yeah. So if I choose this one and I go here and I feel like, hey, this is not the kind of relationship I want to have, I simply click it and delete it and create another relationship all over again. So you can give yourself time to make errors. You can give yourself time to make mistakes, figure things out yourself. But just understand that the relationship you create really depends on the kind of mobile application you are building. So that's it for this lesson, how to create database relationship in Adalo. So I'm pretty sure in the next lesson we're going to be figuring out something else. But till then, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button so you can see my next lesson when I launch it. And if you're looking forward to building your own Adalo application and you need help with it, feel free to reach out to me in the description below. There's a link there to my Twitter account. Reach out to us via Twitter and I'll definitely reach out to you, and we'll build that wonderful application that you're looking for. Thank you so much for watching once again.